What's up, family? Hey, I want to have a real heart to heart with you guys today. And this is going to be a challenging video for me to make, but it's something that we definitely need to talk about and discuss. In religious circles and in circles of spirituality and in enlightenment, there's so many people talking about positive thinking and vibrating on a high energetic frequency, having high vibes, um, good vibes, not dealing with negativity and drama and all those other things. And I understand. I understand that. I truly understand that. I'm sorry, it's cold out here, but it's beautiful. Um, I truly understand that perspective. But I think we lie to ourselves when we think that just because we operate or we live on a high frequency, that things around us is always going to be good. And it's all good. We do ourselves a disservice by believing that. That's not real. Say again, that's not real. And we do ourselves a disservice and we lie to ourselves by believing that. What do I mean? I don't care how high of a frequency you operate on. I don't care what your vibe is, whether it's good vibe or low vibe or whatever. It doesn't stop the fact that you have to wear a mask when you go out in public. It doesn't stop the fact that movie theaters are now closed. It doesn't stop the fact that gyms are closed. It doesn't stop the fact that people around you are getting sick with COVID and dying. It doesn't stop the fact that people around you are getting cancer and dying. It doesn't stop the fact that kids aren't being kidnapped and violated emotionally and physically. All these things still occur. There's still hunger in America. The hunger situation in America is getting worse. And we have more people talking about vibrating at a higher frequency. And yet the hunger is increasing. Homelessness all over America is increasing drastically. And we have all these people talking about vibrating and operating on a high frequency. Just because we operate and vibrate on a high frequency, just because we have good vibes, doesn't mean that all these other things are going to disappear. It doesn't mean that all these other things stop existing. When Buddha walked this planet, there were still people starving. There were still people homeless. There were still wars going on. When Jesus walked this planet, you still had people hungry. You still had poor. You still had the greedy. You still had murderers. You still had thieves. It doesn't matter how much you shed your light. It doesn't matter how much you give love. All of these things are still going on. And they're going to continue to go on. Regardless of how much love you give the world. Regardless of how much light you give the world. We have to come to an understanding that just because we're loving beings, just because we're caring and nurturing beings, doesn't mean that what goes on in the world, what affects the world, isn't going to impact our lives. We have to come to that understanding. When there is a toilet paper shortage, when there is a shortage of wipes and hand sanitizer, if you wasn't prepared for that shortage, I don't care how high vibrating you were, that impacted your life. I don't care how high of vibrating you are. The reality is the food prices are increasing, and they're increasing drastically. It don't matter how much you meditate. It don't matter what your diet is. It don't matter what your religious, spiritual beliefs are. You can't deny the fact that food prices are going up. You can't deny the fact that there is so much racial tension, and not just racial tension, political tension, religious tension. There's so much tension in America right now, regardless of how high vibrating you are. No matter how much love you send it out into the world, it doesn't stop the fact that there are other people that don't want to grow. It doesn't stop the fact that there are other people that refuse to grow. And because they refuse to go, because they don't want to grow, they're not going to grow. And they're going to continue on kidnapping kids, raping people, stealing, murdering people, being greedy. They're going to continue on doing all the crazy stuff that affects society. That doesn't stop your loved ones from getting sick. That doesn't stop your loved ones from getting COVID. That doesn't stop your loved ones from getting diabetes or cancer or any other ailment. Where there's dementia or whatever, that doesn't stop your loved ones from having to go through those things. And I don't care how high you vibrate and what your energy level is, what your vibes are, when your loved one is going through something like that, it's going to affect you. It's going to have an impact on you. There's a lot going on in the country right now. A lot. There's a lot going on in the world right now. And it's not good. Don't be so fixated on vibrating at a high frequency that you're not aware of what's going on around you. There's a difference of being aware of what's going on around you and being consumed by what's going on around you. I'm completely aware of what's going on in the country right now. I'm completely aware of what's going on in the world right now. It doesn't consume me. I don't get depressed. I don't get overwhelmed by it. But I am aware of it. And because I'm aware of it, I'm taking certain steps to prepare for what's going to happen. And that's the reason why I'm making this video. We have to start becoming aware of what's going on and start taking certain precautions to protect and preserve our family, our loved ones. That's our responsibility. Don't talk about being operating on a high frequency and having good vibes and all this other stuff and not take the necessary precautions for your loved ones who may not be operating at a high frequency, who may not be on that spiritual journey you're on. You still have to do things for their betterment, to preserve their life, to enhance their life. I was talking to my son this morning, and I was telling him, it's like, look, man, we can't be so consumed, preoccupied with what we're doing that we fail to miss what we're doing and how we live our life, how it affects the lives of others. What do I mean by that? I can't allow my light to outshine. When I'm talking about my light, what I do, I can't allow what I do for myself Meditating is for me. Yes, I use it to help others, but meditating is for me. My studying, that's for me. Yes, I take those things and I help other people, but it's for me first and foremost. But I can't allow what I do for me to outshine what I lovingly do for others. Let me say that again. We can't allow what we do for ourselves to outshine what we lovingly do for others. We have to get to the point where we can meditate and still garden, or that we could meditate and we could study and still physically exercise. We can meditate and study and still put away a little bit of stuff for a rainy day. We can meditate and study and still be mindful of the turmoil that's going on in the country, the turmoil that's going on in the world. Again, don't allow it to consume you. You have no control over any of that stuff. No control over that whatsoever. You have no control over how many people are going to pass away from COVID, how many people are going to get sick from COVID. You have absolutely no control over that. None. You have no control over the dollar collapsing. You have no control over how high the price of the food is going to get. You have no control over the housing market. You have no control over whether we go to World War III in the next month or two. You have absolutely no control over any of that stuff. But you do have control over how you choose to live your life. You do have control over how you choose to help you make it through these things, if these things happen. Because when these things happen, not if, when these things happen, are you going to be in a position to still be talking about love and light? Are you going to be in a position to still be positive? Or are you going to be like the masses that are unprepared for the chaos that is going to erupt? And you now switch into survival mode because you're hungry and you need some water or whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. So you now shift your focus from being love and light to, man, I got to survive. I got to get on my grind. I got to go get mine. Because if I don't get mine, my kid's going to starve. I got to go do this. I got to go do this. I got to go put in some work here. Do this. That's survival mode. That has absolutely nothing to do with love and light. It's not the situation that you go through that determines how much love and light you have. You could be in the midst of darkness, chaos erupting all around you, and you could, because you're prepared for it, you can still be love and light. You can still have a spirit of gratitude. My hope and prayer is that you take advantage of the opportunity that we now have. We don't know how long we're going to have this time to prepare. Because when it unfolds, when it happens, it is what it is. It is what it is. I love you guys. Happy healing. Peace.